I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Yes.
Cowabunga, baby.
Fuck!
We are in. Let's kick this off. Hey, and today I'm gonna be a little bit more than just standing in the background. I'm gonna kind of lead the conversations here for our show this week. And as always, we have Jake the Alba, pause, Alba, double Alba, right? And then Dan the Warrior Bigelow here. They're gonna be making some cold calls. And yeah, you guys are going to enjoy the ride with us. You know, maybe see a couple fails, but also maybe some victories and some awkward silences from Jake, probably. We'll expect that. But anyway, do you guys want to say anything to the wonderful audience out there?
Hey, we're missing Ryan Reisart today. He's out traveling, so we're going to kind of honor him today by booking a lot of meetings.
It's true.
All right. Well, who's our...
Good. Pick up the phone and start dialing.
It might be hard to dial from yours.
There we go. Okay.
All right, I'll dial. Let me just go ahead and log in like it's my first time.
We're kind of new to this.
All right, do me a favor. Just hold on. I've been doing sales for 20 years. Do me a favor. Write this down. Write Sandler Sales Training. Sandler Sales Training.
Cool. After 6 months of logging in, I was able to log in. All right, so any goals you guys have for me today?
Set a great one, Dan. Get their pain. Let's get real pain.
You ready?
What are their real problems?
All right, here we go. Kind of nervous.
Oh, we have Chris wants a 10-second pause. Ooh. I don't know, Jake. Challenge accepted?
I accept all challenges.
Hi, this is Mike with Henry Champagne. Sorry I missed your call.
All right, no answer. I'm off the hook. Oh, you're up, Jake.
It's like the best feeling ever when they don't pick up.
Service, Bill?
Bill, it's Jake.
Yes.
How you doing?
Hi. Good.
It's Jake Alba at Sandler.
What's that?
It's Jake Alba over at Sandler Training.
Okay.
Not sure if that name sounds familiar or not.
Not really. What's up?
Ah.
What you need?
Dang. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it would. I guess, is it okay if I briefly explain why I'm reaching out, and then you can decide whether or not it makes sense, I guess, to continue this conversation?
Okay.
Okay. I'll be brief. I know I'm kind of catching out of the blue. We actually work with quite quite a few companies similar to yours in the automotive industry. And, generally when we connect with them, they're having a few headaches. Sometimes when they talk to me, they say, we're a little bit frustrated that maybe we're not getting in front of enough of the right people. Others might tell me, we're concerned that, we're having to maybe price drop a little bit to keep up with our competitors. And then the last thing that we're hearing is, we're kind of upset with how difficult it is to hire and keep A players on our teams. I guess let me pause there. But, I don't suppose you're experiencing any of those issues, are you?
Well, no, not in my department, but we have a lot of departments, so.
Oh, okay. I guess, which department did I land in? Sorry, maybe I missed the mark here.
Service.
Oh, in service? Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not sure who you're after. But
Okay. Generally, I'll work with, I guess, one of the owners or sometimes, like the VP or director. I'm not sure if one of those guys is floating around.
not today.
Everyone's out for the holiday still?
Yeah, they're still out.
Lucky. Okay. Who would you suggest I reach out to? Maybe I'll call back later this week or next week.
I'm not. Just call the front desk. Call the same number and just ask for the front desk, and they can direct you to who handles the hiring. So.
Okay. Is there a specific manager or someone I should ask for, or just go call the front desk?
I don't really know who's up there doing it, to be honest with you.
Okay, cool. I appreciate your help. Hey, thanks. All right. Wow.
Cowbunga, baby.
Okay.
Oh,
So you can blame me.
so Jake, one little thing. Gotta make sure you're talking to the right people, right?
Here's a good thought to break down too. The data is a little bit corrupted, but a lot of times we get kind of wrapped around the axle about who made the list or marketing their leads suck. Ideally, a sales manager should build the list for the sales team. And I failed you, Jake, because I allowed that guy to be on the list. So I wanted to say I'm sorry.
No apology necessary. It was a good warm-up call. I appreciate the try.
You did great, Jake. It was a good 30-second commercial, yet relevant pain, and it was just not the right person, so it didn't land.
It's true. And he wouldn't give me any leeway on the right person.
No.
James, give us a little color on why you would want an ideal client profile and how that helps you build a list.
So it's a really interesting concept is understanding that you have a lot of potential prospects, but there's also a difference between people who are really your prospects versus suspects. This is actually something that's out there regarding Sandler as a rule, that a lot of times we might just think that everyone is a prospect. Well, that's not really true. You want to be able to define what they are and what they do. So reality is that we have people that we need to focus our specific sites on and identify what or how we categorize them. So that can be things that are demographic, geographic. There's all kinds of other terms for that. But honestly, just what does it narrow down to? Who is the right person, industry, company? What are potential pains that they should be experiencing that you can really address as part of your offering? So knowing that going into it makes a big difference whether you got a real prospect or not.
Love it. So we're going to do a follow-up call. Jake called this one 2 weeks ago. This is the owner of one we booked, and the manager is kind of a dicey one where the manager didn't complete the survey. And then we prompted him, hey, before we meet, quick reminder to complete the survey. And what ended up happening is he sometimes this happens too when you're selling into an organization. Sometimes you're unseating someone that's in the organization. So this manager probably saw us as maybe a threat, and so he declined the meeting. And so we're going to call the owner and see what happens here. So let's just see real quick what the manager's name was. And the only reason I'm saying this is that's the next name in our cold list. And somehow I remembered that happened to us. So let's see. This could get really dicey. Stay tuned. I'll take this one.
Okay, good luck.
And welcome to the call, Justin. Saying, hey, glad you're here with us.
James, could you get some WD-40 for the ceiling fan?
You have reached Vanessa with the payroll partners. I am either away from my phone or helping other clients. Please leave a message and I will return your call as soon as possible.
Hey, Vanessa, Dan Bigelow. Looks like I got your voicemail. Call me. Actually, call me on my cell, Vanessa. 801-201-4781. All right, so kind of a unique voicemail. A lot of debate out there if you should leave a voicemail. James, shed some color on why on earth leave a voicemail, and then Jake kind of share when not to leave a voicemail.
Okay. Good best practice on leaving voicemails is not to bombard, but it's also to leave a voicemail that is essentially requesting a call back. You don't need to put out more information that allows them to make a judgment. You want to be able to put out the information that you were trying to reach them, and you like to have them call you back. Now, the debate out there is that people just leave so many bad voicemails and they leave all the information. Of course, they're not going to get a call back because people are able to make the specific judgment on call on whether they want your services or not without having enough information. They just get the sliver or the slightest amount, and then all of a sudden they make their alignment and decision, and then potentially lost that prospect. So that's what we found, and there's a lot of debate that still goes on around it, but we get callbacks.
And if you don't leave a voicemail, you don't get a call back. And then there's reasons not to leave a voicemail. Jake, what would be your thoughts on that?
I mean, like we've stated, it's debatable, but maybe you wouldn't leave a voicemail if you're doing an initial phone call. Maybe you wouldn't leave a voicemail if you had zero data to follow up on, because then it's just like completely vague and there's no context. I would say you also wouldn't leave a voicemail if you've left a previous voicemail recently because you don't want to overwhelm them. So unless you have some type of cadence built out, but those might be some reasons why you wouldn't leave a voicemail.
And main reason is if you're using a tool that Ryan Reisart sets up for clients, is you have a higher probability if you can make a lot of dials and call people that answer the phone, you just hang up and call them back because you have a high velocity of, there's a higher probability they'll talk to you if you just hang up and call that same number again. Because if
Christopher,
Dang
I got
it.
you on the pause on my next call.
Sorry that one didn't answer, everyone.
Fire one up for me. I got to do a pause for Christopher.
I forgot how to use the dialer.
But no answer.
I can't see it somehow.
left.
There it is. The window changed. So Ryan has some great data on if you can make a high velocity of dials and you're calling people that answer, then
True.
this company does sales training.
Oh, this will be a good one to do a pause on then.
So we're just going to go ahead and call a competitor and sell them.
Okay, well, let's get them.
Jake, would you be comfortable if I took this one?
Sure, go for it.
They could probably use our help. Sorry that one didn't answer, everyone. All right, Jake, this one's yours.
Okay. This one's gonna be how long, Christopher? 10 seconds? I dare anyone else to do a 10-second pause too, but I'm gonna do one.
We'll count them out with fingers when it does it.
Yeah. Good luck.
And Heidi's made it.
Heidi in the house.
8, 5, 2, 2, 6, 2, 2, 3.
That was my fault. A great leader needs to take ownership.
Dude, do not apologize for every call. I got you, Chris. I have no shame and no fear. It's a blessing and a curse.
All right, Jake, here you
There
go.
we go.
Toyota, this is Seabrier. How may I direct your call?
Yeah, can you connect me with Jake Talbot?
Jake is unavailable at the moment. Is there a message I can take for him? Hello?
Yeah, if you could. That wasn't 8 seconds, but I got you there, Chris, a little bit.
All right. I'll go ahead and.
Cowabunga, baby.
Yes.
She went so not okay she hung up, huh?
James, explain what not okay is.
Oh my goodness. Okay, not okay is when someone is uncomfortable and they go into a space where they feel unsafe.
I felt that, and I'm sitting next to you.
Oh, made the gatekeeper really unsafe.
It was a risky spot to try a pause, but I had to go for it. Chris kept challenging me.
Well, I mean, after Ryan's last week critiquing on gatekeeping, I guess, we went so far in the other direction. I guess that's how it goes. And Just Vibe joining us as well. Hey, hey.
We are sorry. There is no one available.
What
to
in the
take your
world?
call. Please.
Sorry to the viewers, those didn't answer.
People are still on vacation.
Strats. Let me go ahead and call the next one.
Please hold while I try.
Good. Pick up the phone and start dialing.
What if that was my excuse every call? People are on vacation.
Shucks.
It's like the middle of
Looks like Just Vibe is also doing some cold calls. Love
Nice.
that.
I think
Love
Heidi
it.
B's doing some cold calls too right now.
Way to go. Love that.
Love what you guys are doing out there.
Keep it going.
Well,
Yes.
Yes! That's awesome!
When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press the pound key for more options.
Oh, no.
I flinched. I just couldn't.
Cowabunga, baby.
All right. This is the one I've been telling
If we're
everyone
going to do a
about.
voicemail while Ryan's not here, now's the time to do it. Because if we do it while Ryan's here, we'll get in trouble.
Yeah, normally I wouldn't, but that one, there's a lot of history on it. There's a higher probability of actually turning.
Oh,
Hey, is this Rick?
yeah.
Hey, Rick. Dan Bigelow, Sandler Training.
Who?
Dan Bigelow, Sandler Training. Not sure if that name sounds familiar.
No, it doesn't.
Wasn't sure if it would. Rick, can I briefly explain why on earth I called, and then you let me know if it even makes sense to talk?
Yeah.
So I'm a training and a consultant that specifically works in your area. I do a lot of work in your industry. I'm here in Salt Lake, and I just looked you guys up. Are you guys headquartered in Woods Cross?
You know what? I'm retired. I don't do that anymore. So.
Hey, that's good news. Well, are you enjoying retirement, or is it kind of bittersweet where you kind of want to get back in the game?
I don't want to get back in the game.
Yeah.
That contracting's a mean game.
It's a mean game. It's a weird world we live in. Well, Rick, maybe if I could briefly explain what I do, you might know someone that you maybe would suggest I connect with. So I work a lot with contractors and subcontractors in the areas of business development where we help them gain new clients.
You know, I've been out of business for 7 years now, so I can update you on any of that.
Okay. Well, last question, Rick. You gonna go do anything fun? Kind of this July holiday season? Go hit the lake or go take the boat out for a run?
Yeah, we're gonna try and get out and do a little bit, see how far we can go on with these gas prices. So anyway.
Yeah, you can only go so far. It's getting a little scary. Well, Rick, I appreciate your time and keep enjoying retirement.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys, feedback.
Oh, Dan. So my feedback is you need to talk to Rick more. I mean, honestly, I don't know why you didn't take more info.
So one highlight there is you got to have fun when you're cold calling, right?
Yes.
I'm surprised if he's retired, he didn't have a boat. Like, I was kind of shocked.
Yeah, that one's my fault.
Damn.
This one's Jake's.
Okay.
Already Jake's.
Thank you for calling Foreland Refining Corporation and MC Oil and Gas. Our regular business hours
That would
are
be
8
great.
a.m. to 5 p.m. Our main business fax number is 801-298-9889. If you know the extension of the person, welcome to the directory. Please enter the first 3 letters of your party's first or last
Good
name.
comments here, Heidi. Thanks for acknowledging. Yeah, there wasn't much to do there. It's all right. And then Chris, with your flow, you asked for
Not a valid
referrals.
extension. Please try again.
A lot of times we found when we get to a certain point in the call and there's not a fit, we present similar challenges or a few other ones that maybe they have people that
Please try
can
again.
introduce us.
Press 1.
You never know. I've actually gotten a couple introductions there. It's not foolproof, but yeah, sometimes it lands. Pretty great.
Hello.
Hey, is this Pete?
Yes.
Pete, it's Jake Alba with Sandler.
Yes.
Hey, not sure if my name sounds familiar or not.
You know, I'm sorry. It probably is, but I'm not sure.
No, not a problem. It's probably my fault, but is it okay if I briefly explain kind of who I am and why I'm reaching out to you, and then you can let me know if it makes sense to continue the conversation?
That's fine.
Okay. Just wanted to be respectful. I know I'm kind of catching you out of the blue. So we actually work with a lot of different companies similar to your industry, kind of in the refining company. And, we've seen a few headaches across the board that are kind of universal. I'll name a few of those. Let me know if any of those are relevant or if we should just maybe end the call. But one of the big ones that we hear a lot is, we're frustrated that maybe we're not getting in front of enough of the right people. Another common one is, we're concerned that, with all of the prices raising, people are discounting or we're maybe not getting full value out of our product. And then the last one is just in terms of like hiring A players and getting the right people to come in and do the work and stick around. I guess I'll pause there and ask, is any of that, I guess, kind of relevant to your world currently?
Oh, I think it is. Yeah, you bet.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about that.
I'm sorry, I missed. What did you say there?
I guess which one of those would be, I guess, your biggest frustration?
My biggest frustration right now is finding people to work. That's my biggest frustration. People that are trained that don't want a good job. And that's what we have. It's very difficult to find workers that want to put in a good day's work, earn a good living. That's it. That's top of my list right there.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I called. A lot of companies are feeling that same frustration. And, we've been able to help find some A players, people that actually want to work and stick around and do a good job. So I guess would it be okay if I made a suggestion here?
That's fine.
Okay. So I guess, do you have your calendar available if you want to pull that up?
I've got a calendar, you're right.
Okay. Maybe it'd make sense for you and I to carve out 10, 15 minutes to kind of go over how we've helped other companies to find A players. I do have some availability as early as this Friday. If that's too soon, we could shoot for next week.
How about next week sometime?
Okay. What are you looking at for next week? Maybe Monday or Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Okay. Do you have anything in the 8 a.m. or 11 a.m. time slot Mountain Time?
11 a.m.
Okay. Would it be okay if I sent you over an invite via email for a quick?
Fine.
Okay. What's the best email for you, Pete?
Pete.Ipson, IPSON, refining.com.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, Pete, as well, is I'm going to send over a brief survey. It'll help to identify some other areas where we've helped other companies. And if you could fill that out and send it back to me prior to when we meet, it's going to help us just to highlight any other areas that might be worth discussing on our phone call. If anything doesn't relate, you can just go ahead and skip it or leave it blank.
Okay.
So I'll send that over. And if you could fill that out at least maybe a day before we do meet, that would give me some time to really prepare and focus on the things that are most important to you and your company.
That sounds good.
Okay. I'll get this invite sent over in that survey, and I look forward to speaking with you next Wednesday at 11.
Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks, Pete. We'll talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes! That's awesome!
Boom, meeting booked. There it is.
Let's hug.
Oh,
I've never given you a hug, but
That's true. That's the first hug I've ever gotten.
all right. Well, good job to Jake. Would love seeing that. And so a lot of times here, when you have calls and you get someone and you kind of identify with something really quick, you don't necessarily have to go way deep into it. Not only that, you don't even have to open up and reveal what your services all entail. You don't have to go into this feature and benefit mode, and you can hold your cool like Jake and say, hey, let's discuss this further. I can share a few things about how we've helped other clients with these very similar issues. So that's a key point for all you out there making your own calls. Just know that you don't have to, as it were, we call spilling the candy in the lobby. Don't have to let it all out, right? Hold your bullets, keep them in the chamber, whatever you want to call it, and use that for when you actually get to those meetings. So good job on Jake. Well done. Gave him a survey to complete too. Something else that we highly recommend is a good best practice.
Yeah, and part of the magic too is the goal is not to sell the product. The goal is to schedule a meeting. And if in our world, if someone completes a top priority survey, they'll tell you what their issues are. So an outsider might be like, there's not enough pain there. That's not really qualified. But if someone takes 10 minutes and fills out a survey and says, here's a problem, here's a problem, here's a problem, there's a pretty high chance that person's going to show up for the meeting. So awesome work, Jake. And I want to highlight one thing that Jake did, and that's just staying with kind of the social tension. Part of success is just having enough conviction or confidence to say, I'm going to call this person. I'm going to have a conversation. If there's enough there, maybe I'll schedule the meeting. And awesome example of just conviction, Jake. Jake, anything you'd like to say before I talk to the president of SiteWest Technologies?
I was really nervous and scared, but somehow I pulled it off.
I also liked how the prospect rescued you.
Hi, you've reached James Ella. Please leave me a message and I'll return the call as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
What do you mean by rescued me, Dan?
Your pause is so long that they're...
Thank you for calling Manuel Fine Foods, home of Don Julio and Clover Club brands. Please choose
This would be a good one for Ryan.
0 for immediate customer assistance. If you know your party's extension, you may make that selection at any time.
Enter first name and pound. For help, press star H. Press 1 to select
Orlando Torres. Hi, this is Rolando Torres. Please leave your message.
All right. Sorry about that, guys.
Thank you for calling MDS. If you know the extension you're trying to reach, you may dial it now or remain on the line for the receptionist. For a company directory, press 2.
Please enter the first few letters of the name of the person you would like to speak to. There was one match.
Mark Jolly.
To connect to this person, press pound. To cancel, we will now connect you.
Hi, you've reached the desk of Mark Jolly with MDS. I'm sorry I missed your call. If you will leave a message and a phone number, I will get back to you.
Sorry about that, guys.
Dude,
Good, pick up the phone and start dialing.
Yes.
Floating around the office today, is he?
He's not in the office, but I can get you over to him.
Okay, that'd be great.
One moment.
We'll talk about that gatekeeper strategy like that.
Richard's voicemail.
Dang.
If you would like to contact me directly, you may call 801-244-2596.
So unless Dan gets someone to pick up this time, one good note on gatekeepers. Dan did this really naturally.
Hey, Mark. Dan Bigelow, Sandler Training.
I don't remember that.
Wasn't sure if that name sounded familiar. Mark, can I briefly explain kind of why on earth I called, and then you let me know if it even makes sense to talk?
Okay.
So I was looking at your website here. You're still with Intermountain Wind and Solar, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So I do a lot of work with companies in your industry. We're a consultant and training company. And typically when I speak with leaders or executives and they reach out to us, they tell me things like, business is going well, but we could always do better. And are you doing most of the business development yourself, or do you have a pretty big team that's doing that for you?
So you're asking me how Intermountain Wind and Solar does its development?
Yeah, partly. And I just want to make sure I'm in the right place, or if there's someone else I should be talking to. We just we do a lot of training and consulting specifically for companies in the industry on, helping them to sell new clients, shortening their sales cycles. Some of them we're helping them hire the right talent. I couldn't quite tell if you guys have a lot of guys out there knocking doors, or you do this all with nobody knocking doors.
Yeah, we don't knock on doors, but we do our own marketing, and we do have internal people in place that are helping us with all the stuff that you're talking about, helping us with hiring, helping us the sales team improve, whether it's commercial or residential. So we're a significant company.
Yeah.
So we're not doing we've got a lot of staff. We tend to do things in house. We tend to bring those assets that you described in house.
Perfect. Well, it's good to hear you're not doing the door-to-door thing. We don't typically work with those types of organizations. And are you managing most of the sales team, or are you mostly in charge of a certain division or a certain channel?
So Intermountain Wind and Solar has 7 owners, and I'm one of them. And so we're a general contractor, and we're an electrical contractor. So you may deal more with solar companies that are just sales companies. But we're much more a construction company than we are just a sales company. But I head up the commercial division, and then we have a number of men who manage our residential division.
Perfect. So yeah, we don't do any sort of sales organizations or work with the door-to-door sales guys. Most of the people we work with, they've got a team of business development reps, and some of them have divided in different ways. They have appointment setters and those that go out. And on the commercial side, do your sales reps go out and prospect, or do you guys market and generate all the leads for them?
Well, so we do manage bringing in our own leads, and I never marketed just one manner. I marketed in many ways, but
right.
We do. Yeah, we're able to. Well, and it's like I'm getting all these people are wanting to help us do our work right now, but we actually have more business than we know what to do with. What I could at times, certainly right now, it's a labor issue and material issue.
For sure.
We all struggle out right now.
Well, the materials, not so much in our wheelhouse, but labor, is that more of you're not finding the right players, or it's more of you can't even find the C players to hire? I guess tell me about the hiring bottlenecks.
I don't manage that for the company, so I'm not exactly sure how they would describe it. But I think we're having trouble all of us, we're part of associations. I just got off a long call with my competition in this area, and everybody's struggling to keep good quality people. I don't know that I can define why that's true.
Yeah, it's a weird market. There's not it's kind of the employees in one way are kind of in control, and then we've got potentially recession coming, and then we've got supply chain issues. So a lot of weird movement in the market right now. Well, Mark, I've got an idea. I've put together kind of a simple survey, outlines different challenges owners have. My suggestion is, would it be worth risking 10, 15 minutes? I send you this survey. You and I carve out 10, 15 minutes on the calendar, and we kind of showcase a little bit how we've helped companies similar to you that are more self-sufficient. You do most of it in-house. Our approach is kind of giving the tools and the training to those that are in-house, let them do it. So I don't know if that's something you'd be open to, Mark, maybe risking 10 minutes on the calendar, and I send you the survey. Worst case scenario is you fill it out, gives you clarity, and you decide, hey, let's cancel the meeting. Or another case scenario is you fill it out and you decide, you know what, there's more, this is a lot more relevant than I originally thought. Let's go ahead and have a 10-minute meeting. So I don't know if that'd be something you're open to, is scheduling 10 minutes.
Well, so I'm one of 7, and I'm probably not. I'm probably just gathering information for others, and they're so scattered and hard to reach right now. I don't know that I would add one more thing to their plate. But.
Okay. Well, maybe this is what I might be helpful too. Is let's do this. What if I send you the survey? You and I pick 7, 10 minutes on the calendar next week. At the end of that 7-minute conversation, you give me a thumbs down, like don't ever call you guys again, or you give me a thumbs up and you say, you know what, I like what you've shared here. Here's who you should go talk to, and we take it from there. So I don't know if you'd feel comfortable with that.
I'd be up for that.
Okay. What's a good day for you next week, Mark?
Take a look here.
Let's say Friday, 2 p.m. Mountain.
Friday's not good, but Thursday.
Okay.
The 14th's better, around 11.
So I got a meeting right then. Would 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. work on Thursday?
Yes, 2 p.m. would.
Okay. So I'll send you an email with the survey. I looked you up. I think I got a Mark Richards at IM.
That's correct.
Okay. So I'll send you this survey. And then after filling it out, if you decide, hey, it's not of interest, that's okay. Just let me know. We'll cancel our meeting. Otherwise, if you could just have that done 2 days before our meeting, and that way I could be prepared, and we'll kind of share with you what we've done with other companies similar to you, and then maybe see where this goes.
Okay.
Perfect. Well, appreciate your time, Mark.
You betcha. It's nice to meet you.
Hey, you too. We'll look forward to next week.
Yeah, you have a good day.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Yes! That's awesome!
Dude, I don't even want to make any more cold calls. I can't follow that out.
It's nice to meet you.
I'm gonna leave now.
It's nice to meet you, Jake.
You guys were BFFs by the end of that call.
I was like, don't hang up. No, you hang up. Man, Jay, anything you want to break down?
Well, I was going to mention the gatekeeper bit earlier. So Dan naturally, whenever you get the sense that you have a gatekeeper in front of you, he'll naturally use this quick little line that's, oh, hey, I don't know, the prospect isn't floating around the office today, are they? You don't see him from where you're at, do you? It's just kind of this off-putting line that kind of gives off the sense that you're expected to be calling, or they're anticipating your call, or something's not quite right, but not triggering that you're a salesman alarms type things. Anyway, that's what I was wanting to mention while you were dialing, and then we had our prospect connect. But Dan, talking about this one specifically, I like that that naturally you're just resilient to excuses, right? And that you helped soften the blow of what you're doing and advising them by saying, oh yeah, well, I mean, we're actually really working with clients that are more like this and exactly what you just told me. And those types of things, it's just kind of like, oh, well, hey, sorry. I mean, I'm really holding up a mirror, not what you think. But Dan, what do you have to add about that?
I think part of this is you're going down a river, and these smoke screens and objections can come up. If we're too aggressive, you're going to offend somebody and scorch the earth. And if you're too wimpy, nothing's going to happen there. But I think just staying in the saddle, staying in the conversation of, I don't know, would it be worth risking a few minutes? I don't know, would anything like that even make sense? So they're still buying in, there's still confirmation and validation. And so a lot of the times what happens is prospects don't like talking to salespeople because the salespeople will monologue and take way too long to get there. But if you can think of them as, how do I get them in the raft in this conversation? Hey, would this make sense? I don't know, anything like that even relevant? And good example too, where he was trying to mismatch us, like, no, we don't do that. We do it all in-house. So we're just acknowledging that, yeah, well, we've got solutions for those that do it in-house and give them the tools and the training for those that like to do it in-house. So we're just reframing the objection to mean something different than his initial smokescreen. But I mean, if your whole calendar is a ton of these, and yeah, maybe potentially you could waste some time. But what we've learned is we used to be really judgmental sometimes of appointments, but when someone fills out a survey and they're like, that's a problem, that's a problem, that's a problem, that's a problem, we're like, holy cow, that junky appointment we set, there's like a lot of problems there. And then we can just get to the meeting.
I like what you said about the smoke screen, Dan. It's that whenever they give you some type of excuse, you actually pivot and use that as kind of like, yeah, well, that's the reason we should meet, isn't it? What do you think? I just kind of turn it around and ask them a question about it. And there's all kinds of crazy things that they're going to bring up. And, just being able to use the, as we call it sometimes, or I do, verbal jujitsu, right? You're just going to return and deflect what they have back on them.
Exactly. And a lot of this too is just do the behaviors, make the dials, have the conversations, and see who you can get on the calendar.
To reach Steve, press 3. To reach Christy, press 5. To reach Mike, press 6. To reach Bree, press 8. And to reach Marianne, press
All right, so in a few minutes, we're going to ask everyone to type in the group chat, kind of your lesson learned, your takeaway from our session today. Let's see if we can get one more on the calendar.
My turn.
Jake. Let's call this one together.
Okay, every other word.
Bobby, Jim Holbrook's not floating around the office today, is he?
He is.
Can you let him know Dan Bigelow's on the line?
Sorry, what was that? I can barely hear you.
Sorry, my audio is being weird. Can you let him know Dan Bigelow is on the line?
You said there?
Yep.
Okay, just one moment.
Hey, Jim, Dan Bigelow and Jake Alba here with Sandler Training.
I'm sorry, with who?
With Sandler Training, not sure if that name sounds familiar.
It sounds somewhat familiar.
Okay. Well, Jim, can I briefly explain why myself and Jake Alba called, and then you can let us know if it even makes sense to talk?
Okay, go ahead.
So we're a consulting firm that does a lot of training with companies very similar to you. And I'm just looking your website up here. And are you the owner of Premier Plastics?
Correct.
Okay, that's what I thought. So a lot of the successful owners that we talk to, some of them, they do a good majority of the business development. Some of them have a team that does it full time. Now, do you do most of the business development yourself, or do you have a team that's out there doing that?
I've got several folks.
Okay, perfect. That's why we called. Well, a lot of the owners, when they reach out to us, they tell us things like, our salespeople are okay. They're just not getting in front of enough new people. Others tell me things like, yeah, we're getting in front of enough people, but we find ourselves discounting a lot, just trying to compete with the competition. And then lastly, and my colleague Jake here, he hears this one a lot, is a lot of times their sales cycles are just taking way too long, and their closing deals, it's just their sales cycles are way too long. Let me stop there, Jim. You probably don't have any of those challenges.
Well, everybody's got those challenges. Let's be honest with each other, right? It's the age-old sales thing. So you find the right people, you get them trained properly, and you have the proper processes in place, then you can be successful, I believe. We all have those struggles, and getting the right people in the right seats is sometimes the key.
Absolutely. I appreciate you sharing that too. And it's funny too, especially in your world and all the changes right now in the market. Currently with your sales team, are they all, 100% of quota and they're hitting out of the park, or do you kind of have a common team where maybe one person's crushing and the other two are just kind of,
Well, we're a small sales team right now. In fact, we just had one person leave us, and so we're in the process of redeveloping that sales process. We've got a couple of the partners that have some of that sales experience, so they're working with us on that realm. If you guys want to send me some information about what you do and how you do it, I'm happy to share it with the board and see if this is a fit. But building the sales team is paramount to our plans going forward.
Perfect. Well, it's definitely in our wheelhouse. Well, can I make a suggestion here, Jim?
Sure.
Let's do this. I'll email you. We put together a simple survey, outlines different challenges leaders and executives have, especially when it comes to business development. And my suggestion is I'll email this to you, and it might take you 5-10 minutes to fill out. And then I'd suggest you and I carve out maybe 7 minutes on the calendar, maybe 10 minutes next week. And at that point, you can give us a thumbs down and kick us to the curb, or say, you know what? I like what I saw in that survey, and I think there's enough here. Let's get you in front of some of the other leaders. So I don't know if that's worth risking 7 minutes. You and I carve out a little bit of time next week, and we can go over that survey I send you.
Well, let me see what you have. Let me understand who you are and what it is you offer, and then we can revisit that. I will answer that question after I've reviewed and look at what you've got for me.
That sounds great. Well, Jim, I'll send you the survey, and then there's a lot there. If something doesn't apply, just leave it blank. And it might be a great tool to show some of the other leaders too, where you could create a little bit of an alignment with the executive team. Then I'll send you a couple other high-level things. What's a good time next week? I should briefly touch base with you and see if this is worth talking about. And if I get an email from you, I won't reach back out to you.
Just go ahead. We can reach back out, say, late Friday morning.
Okay, so I'll give you a call late Friday morning, 11 o'clock. And then if I get an email from you that says we're good, I'll delete the call. But if not, I'll plan on calling you Friday at 11.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Appreciate your time.
Thanks. Bye.
Yes! That's awesome!
I almost jumped in there to announce myself, but it just wasn't there. So I let Dan take it all the way. Dude,
Well, Dan,
me and Jake are on the line here. I was like, what is
so
happening?
good. So funny. So, Dan, what do you have to say about that one? Just a little bit of self-reflection.
So he's kind of trying to stiff arm us, like, no, we're good. No, I'll call you. Just send me the thing. So I'm just like agreeing. I'm aligning with him and then saying, well, let's just pick a time. And because I didn't wimp out, he's like, that time works. Friday's fine. Okay. So if I called you 11, so I preserved his okayness by saying, email me if you don't have any interest, but otherwise I'll call you. So weaker appointment, but again, if that guy fills out the top priority survey, it's literally a mini 30-second commercial. Is this a problem? Is this a problem? Is this a problem? Give someone a chance to do that. So some unique calls, real world experience today. But everyone in the group chat, type in your lesson learned, your takeaway. What in the world did you get out of today's session? We'll spin a wheel, and then we'll see kind of who wins. Headset from Headset Advisor. Jake, tell us what the Headset Advisor boomstick mic is.
So imagine you hear like angels whispering in your ears. That's what it feels like when you have the boomstick headset on. And then when you vocalize like anything into the boomstick, boom, it's like you're speaking in the voice of an angel. So, I mean, you got to try one. That's all.
Love it. And makes a lot of sense, Jake. So type in the group chat your lesson learned. James, you share your highlights, and then I'll spin the wheel and we'll do a drawing.
I think one of my highlights today was Jake doing the 10-second pause, and the lady just hung up on him. So maybe 10 seconds is a little too long.
I think with the right person, we could get longer than 10 seconds, but we got to be careful.
Yeah.
But I'll do it. I'll do anything.
I've never heard you say something like, be careful.
Well,
when it's the receptionist, maybe that's hard. Yeah, maybe that's a hard one to do. Because they'll just be like, I'm just going to hang up, right? But if you get the person, they'll be like, are you still there? Hello?
Yeah, agreed. Where it's the pattern interrupt became too powerful and it broke, which we saw today. So last chance, go ahead and throw in the chat your lesson learned, what you learned today, what your takeaway was, and we'll run a little spin the wheel, and we'll see who wins a Boomstick Headset Advisor headset for their prospecting calls. So we'll give it about 20 more seconds.
Heidi, put one in, Heidi. Hurry. Lesson learned. Christopher got one. Dude, this will be real interesting with just Christopher's name on there.
You're only seeing one chat thread. I can see the other chat thread, Jake.
True.
All right, so all right, we're gonna spin the wheel, see who won the headset. All right, spin the wheel, and our winner is Christopher Hardy. You won a headset from Headset Advisors. Go ahead and email, LinkedIn message Ryan Reishart. If you need his stuff, you could send it to me. But look up Ryan Reishart, say I won the Headset Advisor on the Sandler Training Utah prospecting calls. And then everyone tune in next week. We're going to bust out a lot more calls, but kind of the focus is make dials, have conversations, and if they're qualified, schedule a meeting. James, your final thoughts, and then Jake, your final thoughts today.
My final thoughts are good technique in being able to redirect what they throw at you as the purpose for you calling. You know, that's a really good reinforcement of just saying, oh, well, I don't necessarily have that problem, where, we kind of deal with more of this, and then just use that as the redirection. And we love that. Great work.
Awesome. Jake, your final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Behaviors beget results. So even if you're feeling like you don't want to do the dials or you're having a crummy day, the behaviors are more powerful. So if you carve those out into your schedule and you make sure you do the behaviors, the results will always follow. I'm Jake Alba. This is Sandler Training.
Love it. All right, let's have a moment.
All right, do me a favor. Just hold on. I've been doing sales for 20 years. Do me a favor. Write this down. Write Sandler Sales Training. Sandler Sales Training. Do as much YouTube.
Yes! That's awesome!
Love it. Come back next week. Love you guys. Reach out to us if you like help. And then also, if anyone would like to come as a guest to one of our training sessions where we're training prospecting ourselves, reach out to James, Jake, or myself. We'd love to invite you as a guest to one of our training sessions. Come mingle with some other sales pros and come learn some of the best practices. So until next time,